Blackfishing is a form of cultural appropriation. Let's get things straight. Let's start at the roots. Hello, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to take you on a little class of what is blackfishing and why it's wrong. Blackfishing is when a not black person literally fishes for black features. So whether that's like hair or makeup or, darker skin tone or certain clothes that do belong to black culture, even though the person is not black. It's basically a non-black folk that is mimicking being black, whether that's intentional or not. I think the term for it is pretty new. It actually started with like this influencer, I think she's British, if I'm not mistaken, who edits her photo to look, edited her photo because she got called out, who edited her photos to look more racially ambiguous. Yeah, you saw the screenshot. She's not even ambiguous. Like, she's a whole other ethnicity just with foundation. I think it's important that people know blackfishing is not only online, like while editing your photo, it's also speaking with like a black scent or wearing, black hairstyles or, doing protective hairstyles when your hair is not, does not need protective hairstyles. The bottom line, the issue with blackfishing that a lot of people don't understand, it's not just stealing and not giving credit to black people basically for bringing those, I guess, trends, you can call them trends, stuff like that. It's actually that black people get killed for being black. That's an issue. That's not profitable. Well, it depends for who, but not for black people. When folks steal from black culture, they profit off of it. They look hotter. They get more exposure on social media. They're deemed as like more attractive, which in itself, personally, I don't think is an issue. What's problematic about blackfishing is that, once again, I'm going to speak about black women specifically, but when they wear their natural hair, they're deemed as unprofessional, versus a white girl doing dreadlocks on the beach is deemed as like a hippie, like a fashionable, like a spiritual traveler. No, babe. There's this one article. Oh, it's right there. Okay. And that's a thing that I didn't know. Blackfishing is using those new features for monetary or other gains, whereas blackface over-exaggerates and heightens features to degrade and ridicule black people. So I think that, for me at least, it makes a lot of sense. There's like a big difference to make, but hey, whatever you want to think, people have to understand that blackfishing is another form of racism. Of course, exposure to racial trauma increases risk of mental illnesses, like anxiety, depression, all that fun stuff. For black folks, not white folks, of course. Blackfishing is only interesting for some people only when it's not related to what, the actual experience of being black is like, if that makes sense. You're getting all the benefits without any of the risks. We don't have to talk about that. I don't want to have to put trigger warnings throughout the whole video. If you know, you know. So the real issue is that black people get bullied, killed, mocked for being black, which by itself, okay, can we also say being black is not a race, okay? The only race there is the human race. That's it. If you just learned that, I'm glad you're here because we have a lot of work to do. That's going to be the opinion that's a bit not controversial, but not a lot of people might agree with. I think for me, blackfishing, again, it's called fishing and it's a form of racism because A, you're not giving credit to black people, but B, you're not realizing that you're directly harming the black community by only picking specific aspects. The thing is, that's also a thing. Not all black people look the same. So even if you do wear a certain type of box braids, for example, it's not going to be the same significance throughout all cultures. You have to know your stuff and you have to give credit. And even then, if the culture that it's from says, that's not okay, you don't get a say. It's not okay, period. That's it. Apologize, move on, do better. So I showed you, what's her name? Emma Hallberg. So the first, I think it was 2018, the first tweet that got viral and then led to a thread of all Instagram girls online pretending to be black while editing, or even like, you know, in some interviews they would have the black scent, stuff like that. We also have, amongst people that you might know, and that one hurts, I'm not gonna lie, but Ariana Grande, we have Kim Kardashian, of course, we have Iggy Azalea, we have Jessie Nelson, as I talked in like a previous video. All of that to say, just wanted to give you those big names, hopefully you know one of like them, to make you realize how much of a fetish it's like becoming, which is in itself concerning. When you have a fetish for one ethnicity in particular, that's not healthy. That's just weird, okay? I read a lot of articles that do put it in words like better than I ever could, so I'm gonna read some of them to you. So, blackfishing folks participate in blackfishing without wanting the full experience of blackness and the systemic discrimination that comes from it. From my personal experience, this is my natural hair. Also, for background, I mix. My dad is black, my mom is white, so that's why I look like this. I've always struggled to wear my natural hair because A, I didn't know how to take care of it, and B, people always made me feel like I was not beautiful enough, like I just, you know, like it wasn't professional, it wasn't pretty. They made me feel as though my natural hair was a lot of work and would never be pretty or good enough. And, you know, I think I wore my natural hair like once at school, and I remember everyone touched it, was like, oh my god, is it your real hair? Oh my god. At the time, I know it bugged me, but I didn't realize it was an actual like microaggression. Like that roots from, well, racism and being uneducated and stuff like that. Now, my hair is sacred. I'm glad I got to that, but I'm just saying, those people that reduce hairstyles to like a trend or like a commodity, you're harming the black community that is already vulnerable. Most, if not the most, that's also debatable. Like, it's not a competition, okay? And if it was, it's not one we want to win. People have to understand there's such a difference between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation, which is a whole other video. But if you want to, you know, get educated on the topic, just like Google it. It's basically what I'm talking about. Blackfishing is cultural appropriation because you're not giving credit, you're not helping the community to not be stigmatized because of actually being black and being born black. You really have to understand that, I'm going to say BIPOC just to include like mixed people, but we are all in agreeing that dark-skinned folks experience way more racism than lighter black folks, which, you know, colorism, again, a whole other thing. So I'm not diminishing that. I'm just saying I'm going to use BIPOC as like the umbrella term, even though I don't really like it. When BIPOC are okay with like their features, and again, the example that I have, wearing your natural hair, they are deemed unprofessional. There was this whole debate on Twitter like a year ago maybe about, is it ghetto to wear a bonnet like outside? And it's just like, white people wear beanies and caps. What's the difference? Like, it's a hat at the end of the day, but because it is associated with the black community, it's ghetto. Whereas, you know, specifically white women that steal those hairstyles are seen as trendy, fashionable, and like open-minded, stuff like that. Whereas the marginalized black community have to work twice if not even more, like twice as hard as other people to even just get opportunities, to get access to those opportunities. Racism. One thing I have in mind right now is Fashion Nova. I don't know why I thought of it, but basically brands kind of encourage that type of behavior from non-black influencers because they don't want to use actual black people for their campaigns. And then there's the whole argument of like, oh, we can't cast black people because, you know, there's no black people that are actors or that are like models, or that basically brands are sending the message that black people are A, not talented enough, and B, not even physically attractive, I guess, to like be in, I don't know, makeup campaigns, you know, stuff like that. When like hopefully if you're watching this video, you're open-minded, but Like, you know that's not the case. So it's not that you didn't find any Black people, it's that you didn't look for them. So just be honest. Brands now are doing, at least the most common ones, I'd say, like Western culture and stuff like that, are doing better with like shade ranges, because at first, like even my color, and I'm light, okay, I acknowledge that, even my color wasn't really available for like foundation, concealers, and stuff like that. So imagine darker skinned people that wanted to get into makeup, but it was seen as like a luxurious industry, or it sends the message that Black people shouldn't wear makeup because they probably don't take care of themselves. I mean, my nails are kind of agreeing with that point, but don't judge. That's different. It's different. Okay, I saw another sentence that I thought was really like good at explaining. Influencers and celebs can pick apart features they deem desirable, like they're shopping at a clothing store. They just pick whatever they want, whatever they think will fit them. That's it. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna contour my nose a certain way so that it looks more ethnic, whatever that means. It doesn't mean anything. And then they are changing basically beauty standards, whether that's, you know, curvy waist, having straight hair, to having like specific curls, like specific curls patterns with like wigs or whatever. Obviously, the tanning of the skin, like Kim Kardashian, BIPOC, woman, men, non-binaries, whatever. We can't just take off our features. Like even with contouring and, you know, putting lighter shades of foundation, there is Blackness in us and we can't camouflage that. And we shouldn't have to. And I think that's the, like at the end of the day, that's the issue. But systemic racism is like it's a whole other area to get into, if that makes sense. Spaces should be more inclusive for actual Black folks. If you want to get educated on, I don't know, like a specific type of clothing or a specific like hairstyle, whatever, to keep the example of hair, natural hair, check your sources. Don't read a BuzzFeed article and be like, oh, okay, I know everything about this culture and like this culture. No, you don't. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, why the hell do you want to be part of another ethnicity? I don't even know why people profit off of it. Like, you're gonna get what, 5,000 likes on your picture? Oh, congratulations, you're a celebrity. Just, you're harming communities. You're sending the message to your followers that it's okay to steal from other cultures, and that, you know, yeah, you might be harming other people, but it's benefiting you. So why not? That is it for me today. I was gonna take off the Velcro, but I don't know, I kind of like it. I hope this video made a lot of sense to you. I hope if you're not familiar with blackfishing that you now understand how problematic it is and why it's problematic and why you should call out people that do blackfish. I think it's very important that we hold each other accountable, and so that everyone, like, the more people are educated, the better, right? I forgot the gloss. Oh my god, that makes me think of the trend that's like, I'm not saying that all people that do lip fillers are doing that to have like black lips. Like, obviously, if you have your own insecurities and you're not trying to blackfish, then obviously it's a different thing. But I'm just saying, ask yourself, same with like the BBL trend. Ask yourself where those trends come from. Your personal insecurities or the trends that you saw people do stealing from Black culture in the first place. I'm gonna link some YouTube videos that I saw of Black creators explaining blackfishing and what it is and stuff like that. I hope you can discover some new creators that you enjoy watching. And remember, Black people do not have to educate you. Look for credible sources. That's all that matters. Thanks so much for watching. Before you go, remember to empty your email boxes because that pollution is not cute. Bye!